Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So another strong day in the market. Lots of methodical moves over the course of the last 4 days. A lot of people were talking for some reason thinking like this was day one breakout, where to me this felt like, I guess we're early. This felt like we were almost 4 days from last week's lows, but I guess people don't think of things that way. Like we think about when you get the reversal, which we had last Thursday at 2033 or 2040, and then a little bit of a decent follow through Friday, and then that narrow range bar Monday, and then a real big day Tuesday, which was really your day to get long yesterday, and then today you had your follow through. So to me, getting long today, especially indices, is a very hard trade. And last night I went over like 9 to 10 things that I was long overnight and why. And today I went out flat. Not because I think the market's going to fall apart or the market's going to fail, but I kind of think that an inside day or so would go a long way, for then maybe a more sustainable move back above that 2100 area. So anyway, let's go to the indices first. You look here. Here was your double bottom low, okay, and then here was your push up off that low, and then we took out resistance and stayed above the 8 and 21 day for a really nice rally. First time we got back up here, back up to just say this spot straight away, after a huge move. This is when earnings season started. This is when Microsoft missed, Google missed, Apple missed, all those names missed. So obviously there wasn't enough leadership to take us above it. So really what happened was, a decent sized pullback, not huge. Okay, if I was able to do a Fibonacci retracement here, which I probably couldn't figure out, let's see if I can find it right here. Is this the Fibonacci retracement? From here to all the way up here. Oh, look at that. What do we do? What do we pull in? All we really pulled in, actually, if you think about it, from that low to this high is about, a 0.25%. Not even like 0.382, which is all the way down here. So with that being said, this was a very, very shallow pull-in. So commitment to this double bottom low, to me, looks pretty high. Okay, so now you go back. No wonder why it was so tough during this process when we thought we were having this head and shoulders top thing for it to really break below, support. Because again, this is pretty big commitment. So let's go back here and let's see if I can remove this. Delete. Look at that. The Redler's getting better at this. So all in all, not too much of a pullback, but things had to come in line. So now, okay, we talked about this, new descending channel here, which above here would kind of blow out the right shoulder thoughts, and that's what happened. This was your first thinking, oh, maybe we can't get downside follow through. Let's, switch some gears, and we did get long Thursday into Friday, and then here was your inside day Monday, and then boom, this was your day to get long. If you did get long, you got paid today, depending on what you were in. Now the question is, what happens here? Do we just go right back to the highs and through them, straight away or not? Now you look a little bit further back at, this chart, okay? First of all, some are thinking this is now like an inverted head and shoulders pattern where I'm drawing a lot of lines here. Here is your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder. Now you have a neckline here at 2100. If that's the case, you're going to see a huge move. But obviously, we're going to need a lot of things to happen for that to happen. So anyway, here's 2130. So far, a really, from last Thursday to here, it's a nice move. Maybe this woke people up. Maybe traders now are less lethargic and money managers think maybe they got to start working again, or maybe not. So at this point, hopefully you made some money because it was pretty methodical, and now we'll see, what's next. If you go to the spiders now, so since it's a little cleaner, you will see that, we are, we had that, we had the red dog reversal here, and we took out the descending channel here. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to see, it would be nice, but obviously this market's not going to wait for anyone. I'd like to see us hold. You have like an inside day tomorrow or so, and then I think that would go a longer way to then giving us a little bit of, a little bit of confidence to be breaking above this and then that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. All in all, you have good participation across the board, which lends me to think that it can continue, just a matter of whether we pause a day or so. You look at the Qs. Qs took back the 200-day. This was the spot to get aggressive here. Then you had a little follow through, Still some room here depending on how it wants to do it. The Russell also, pretty aggressive, move here above this descending channel, all from that, start of the red dog reversal last week right here. And now maybe it needs a little bit of a rest. It's extended from the moving averages before it tries to take that out. So a lot of these things are in like their void from the descending channel back to the highs of the year. The question is, how does it get there? XLF made a quick move in the morning and then just kind of died out. XLF actually made a new high on the year. Okay, so that's a show of a little bit of health, but look where it came from here. So might need a little bit of a rest also. So the indices just had a really nice move, and maybe it's time for them to digest. And if they digest, there could be some individual stock action. I actually chose to be in a lot of different names that I had for a reason, thinking that maybe today would have been a little bit of a quieter session, but today we gapped up and just stuck there. So what did I have overnight? Let's see, Facebook. Facebook to me is still a little lethargic. Does it mean it's a short? I don't think so, but to me, I had it overnight and I sold it today, made a little bit of money on it. Now I guess we'll see what happens here. Can it hold above this spot? I would have thought, it would have had a little bit more power. Here is the resistance. It didn't. Doesn't mean it's a blaring short, just means that either you have to sit in it and be bored or pick and choose your spots very carefully. Amazon also. This one I had overnight. I sold in the first part of the day. It still looks okay. It's still above this triangle here, but a lot more quiet. Maybe it's too over-owned. I don't know, but it's above the 8-day. It's still fine. To me, it's not a short. It's just not a very powerful long. The most powerful longs have come in from the broken names that were heavily shorted. We talked about Netflix being a buy earlier in the week at 93.50, and this one had a powerful move. Here's your lower level trade. This is when it broke above this descending channel. Here's when it took out this 93. And 1, 2, 3, 4 up days. To me, I don't buy or initiate on the fourth up day, but with a gap right here, a lot of traders are thinking maybe it could squeeze a little bit more, I guess. It's come a long way since breaking this ascending channel. You can remember what I said, when stocks reclaim their 8-day moving average after a lower level, it puts it in tactical contrarian mode. So if this was, you're short below it, here it turned back into a long and now it's extended. So, buyer beware, but also short beware because it hasn't given you a sign yet that it's ready to stop. Apple did the same thing. Apple, everyone hated, including me. I thought we were breaking below 92, going to stay below it, made good money when I was away on that move. And then, all of a sudden I'm traveling home on a Monday and I hear Buffett took a big stake. I wasn't short overnight, thank goodness. And most guys are like, oh, thank goodness I switched gears because, it took back this 92 and now it's above the 8-day. And we know when we're back above the 8-day, it could be a new tactical trend, which is right there. And now look at it. It's in the earnings gap, and the question is how much further does it go? There's a lot of room here. Typically we like gaps because they're air pockets, and as of now, it seems as if there's still more room here. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4 up days. Hard to be short this. Give you no signs to be shorted, but also hard to be aggressive here, from the long side. Remember when it broke this spot? Well, if you got out here, which is what we tried looking, look at this, above the 8-day the whole way. And now it's above it, but it's extended from it. So you'll see. As far as the disaster today was BABA. Stock's been a thorn in my side for a long time. Every time it's looked good, it's failed. And finally yesterday I was like, oh, BABA looks great. Broke above 80. There's volume there. Took it home long. And, and we all know what happened with BABA. BABA came out with the SEC investigation, broke below this spot, and pow. So, as of yesterday, it looked great, right? Look at that. Nice consolidation. Came out with earnings already. They certified whatever their financials. Didn't think something was going to go wrong above everything. And then boom. Okay, by the way, that happens in the business. Things that you don't know of. Same way, again, it's called like a broken hand. Like just say, I gave you that blackjack analogy yesterday where if just say you have 2 8s, in blackjack versus an 8, what do you have to do? You have to split them. And then all of a sudden, you get a 3 on one 8, and then you're like, I got to double down. You get a 2 on another 8. Oh, okay, maybe I'll double down. And then all of a sudden, the dealer turns over a 3 underneath and gets a 10, and you lose all your money. It happens. It's a broken hand. But anyway, so our strategy was, okay, let it put a 5-minute low in and see if it could bounce. And if it breaks that 5-minute low, I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to be done with it. I'm not going to trade it. So you go back to BABA, and you'll see that here, was the bar. And granted, I lost a decent amount of money in it, but if you go to the 5-minute chart, it could have been worse. So, for another time. So here was basically the first move off the lows. I gave it a little spot. I actually sold some, we talked about in the VTF, up into this 79-ish. And then once it broke here, I'm like, I'm done. It broke below this 77.88, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just done with it. Got out of it, and I didn't play it the rest of the day. Some people might have tried to play a bounce, or who knows? But all of a sudden, came back up, broke, and boom, just became a disaster. So I'm done with this name, and I will not revisit it. I don't care how good it looks, whatever. It's just one of those, just names that have not worked well for me. So anyway, whatever. As far as the financials, like JP Morgan, 3 days ago, I bought it, added yesterday, and I sold it today. It still looks fine, it still looks good, but for me, I look for compelling trades, and here, this was, your flag, buy a little bit. Here is when it broke above it, and then this is when you get paid. Doesn't mean it's going to stop, but for me, it's extended from the 8th day. You have 2 big days, and that was a good trade. Bank of America also. Bank of America, I bought in the flag, which was right in here, which you saw. I added yesterday, and I sold some today, and kind of reversed a little bit, so we'll see what happens. A little extended, but it's okay. This is how you have to do it. This is how you figure out whether you want a 2-day trade, a 3-day trade, or whatever. Really, at this point, I think some people made some money buying the dip in the miners and GLD today. The GDX, that has come in a long way, did a little bit of a red dog reversal right here. Okay, so for those of you that were looking for it, that was actually probably one of the easier trades today. Opened down, reclaimed, 22.44, closed well, so maybe taking a third overnight to see if we can get back into the moving averages. That's pretty decent. Some of you who wanted the juice, you played the nugget also. Look at that size of that move, came into the 200-day after. So if you sold it up here, when it broke the 8-21-day, you had the luxury of buying back into this spot, and it reclaimed this 72.27 and gave you 5 points. And if you're taking a little bit overnight, be my guest. That's the trade. Here it kind of worked, and here maybe again. It's, to me, broken, but a nice intraday trade today, better than trying to buy other stocks that looked strong. But anyway, so you see, if you have a third, I've been debating on whether to take GLD because I did sell mine up here when it broke that, but didn't really quite get back involved. It's above the 200 days. Looks like it could bounce a little bit. I just was like, you know what? If I'm going to be flat, I might as well be flat, and tomorrow, we'll figure it out. But here's when it broke the 8-21-day. That was your out. And now if you got out and you tested a little bit in the lower end of the range, I think it's you're in the game for a little bit of a bounce. So here we are. I think this move, if you look at CNBC.com, I got interviewed by Patty. I'm like, this move in the last week probably shook some people up. You have some money managers now that might be short. You heard Soros is double short. The S&P, Icon, short. A lot of people are short. We're back near highs, and there's no excessive bullishness. It's still everyone pessimistic. So maybe that means we could finally break above it. So this move puts everyone on edge. If you're short, you're on edge. And if you happen to have risk down and you're behind in performance, if you're a hedge fund, which you've already had some poor performance because you've been shorting since 1900, whatever it is, you might have to get involved. So, be on your toes in the next few sessions. I would say an inside day tomorrow would be great. So this way it builds a little bit of a base for a move above 2090 or 2100. If we gap up 10 handles tomorrow, it is what it is. Okay, maybe there's a better fade versus a 15, 30-minute high. But I think to be heavy short tonight, hard to do that, and heavy long, hard to do that. Better to be a little flexible after a 4-day move like we've seen, and we'll try and pick out some individual stock plays tomorrow in the note that could make some cash flow for us based on how we look in the morning. Hope you had a great day. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.